The Boys is mainly set in New York City, but if you're a Torontonian like me, you probably know it was shot in Toronto. You know, Toronto, the home of the Maple Leafs, Drake, and our crack-smoking mayor. Toronto has become a mecca for film and television production, often being substituted for New York, which is exactly what happened when The Boys came to town. And yes, one time they were shooting right outside my apartment, which was pretty cool. So I thought it would be fun to give you a little tour of my hometown, see the real locations where they shot in season 2, and how some well-placed CGI can make my city look like... Okay, enough of that. But before we do, grab some milk and make sure to like and subscribe so my last remaining serotonin doesn't give up on me. On that note, let's start with a funeral. Translucence, that is. The large LED-lined concert hall is actually the Diamond Schmidt Theater in the Meridian Arts Center. I'm not sure if you have Meridian in the States, but it's like a big investment bank type thing here. Those LED lights made it perfect for the Boys as they could blast some Homelander red, white, and blue during his eulogy. Hey, remember the Deep in Sandusky, Ohio? Unfortunately, it's just our town's water park, Wet and Wild. I haven't been there since I was like 7 and a bird shit on me, and it's not the greatest memory.
I think water's supposed to be fun.
A few moments later, Eagle the Archer bails the Deep out in a former Toronto police headquarters. This place has been used in other movies like 2015's Academy Award nominated Spotlight. Now let's take a look at the Boys' hideout, which is located at 1955 Weston Road, quite a bit of ways away from the downtown core. Obviously, the real hideout scenes aren't filmed here, those are on a set, but it's kind of cool to look at. And if you go to Google Maps, you can see what's likely a truck from the show because of these orange LES cones. Whenever you see those around the city, you know something is shooting nearby. You may have seen these giant-ass silos where Agent Raynor's head explodes. These are the Victory soya mills, and they CGI'd this big Dawn of the Seven poster on its side. These silos have actually been abandoned since 1991, where they used to store soybeans. Now they're considered a heritage site since they were built in 1944 and will be incorporated into the new Portlands, which brings me to our next location, the Portlands. Remember when Kenji totally flips over that boat? Yeah, that's Lake Ontario, and lots of films shoot around here. I think the ending of The Shape of Water was filmed around here too. And when the Deep is riding that whale, well, that's Lake Ontario, and whales can't survive in lakes. Our next stop is George Street Diner, where Starlight blackmailed Gecko. Now, I actually haven't eaten here, but it's got a great old school 50s aesthetic and is a popular brunch spot. If there's a subway scene, it's almost always shot at an abandoned Toronto subway stop called Lower Bay. This place has been used in dozens of films like Suicide Squad and is almost exclusively a film set now after going out of commission in 1966 after only 6 months of use. Glad to see our tax dollars at work. Now, here is where you're gonna find out how insane I am and that I have no life. Remember Tony Ciceros, the place where Butcher is dropped off at the beginning of episode 2? I couldn't find out where this place was, but I did some sleuthing and noticed this graffiti in the back that says, "You say tomato, I say tomato," and I was like, maybe it's in East Side Mario's. We have a couple of those around the city. So then I cross-referenced all the East Side Mario's in Toronto and found it, double checking it had the same hanging motorcycle in the front. I am very lonely. Agent Raynor has her funeral at Willowdale Presbyterian Church, and these interiors for the Girls Get It Done campaign are done inside Roy Thompson Hall. Now, Roy Thompson Hall is also the stand-in for Vought Tower. At least the base is, since the building is only about 8 stories high. They just basically add CGI to make the tower look huge. Kimiko and Kenji walk down the Esplanade, which has a bunch of bars and restaurants. Notice the USA Today newspaper bin, but if you've ever been to Toronto, you know these are definitely Toronto garbage bins. Now this one is near and dear to my heart because it's literally right outside my apartment. The whole battle between Stormfront and Kenji takes place in an area called Regent Park. Those apartments that get blown up, yeah, those are government subsidized housing, so I guess that's on par for Stormfront. In some of the scenes you can even make out part of the CN Tower. Here's Wiley Bridge, where Butcher and Rebecca have their fight about Ryan. It's actually close to that Wet and Wild and is situated in a conservation area. Huey and Starlight have a chat outside the Queen's Park subway station. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they shot this because this corner is super busy, so they probably dished out a ton of cash to shut it down for a few hours. In episode 4, Huey and Starlight hook up at the Emporium Motor Court Motel. This is supposed to be in the south, but it's actually the beach motel near Hamilton, a city outside of Toronto. Kimiko and Frenchie have their first tiff of the season inside St. Paul's Church on Bloor Street. This is the largest Anglican church in the city, which was originally built in 1842, but this new portion you see here was constructed in 1913. And here is one of my favorites of the season, Butcher getting beat up in a bar called Sneaky D's. I can't even begin to explain how many times I've gotten drunk here. It's a popular bar and restaurant with live music upstairs, and in true Toronto fashion, they're tearing it down soon to build more condos. I thought this was pretty funny, but that alleyway where Homelander and Stormfront boink is right next to an infamous bar called Crocodile Rock. It's basically the city's cougar bar, and on weekends you'll have like middle-aged to older women come down from the suburbs to hit on young men. I mean, like, not that I would know anything about that. In episode 6, we get to see the Church of the Collective, which is owned by the Scottish Rite Club of Hamilton. The beautiful facade here was constructed by a tobacco millionaire, and the building is mainly used as a restaurant and for weddings. It's also been used in other shows like The Handmaid's Tale because it looks creepy as fuck. Sage Grove Psychiatric Hospital is actually a former psych hospital called St. Thomas's. It's now abandoned and is even said to be haunted. This building was also used in the Guillermo del Toro produced Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The Homelander and Stormfront rallies take place in front of Pico Square, which is right across the street from Roy Thompson Hall, aka Vought Tower. Pico Square was built as part of Toronto's postmodern Metro Hall project and meant to house the government of Metro Toronto. The Jitterbean coffee chain found in episode 7 doesn't really exist. It's a place called Grinder Coffee near where I used to work. Now, I tried to install their app, but all I got were pictures of naked men. Grace Mallory's swanky CIA outpost is called the Falls View Residence, located between lush forest and waterfalls along the Bruce Trail, which is Canada's oldest and longest marked footpath. It's currently privately owned by a family of 5, and some say if you whisper lamplighter 5 times in the mirror, you can hear the faint cries of homebanger echo throughout the house. The Vogelbaum Mansion is actually Parkwood Estate, a giant home located in Oshawa originally built for the former head of GM, R.S. McLaughlin. If you've ever seen Billy Madison, this is the same house. Remember that exploding head scene? I sure do. I got demonetized for showing it. Not bitter about it at all. Well, they actually borrowed the courtroom set from the show Suits, which is filmed here in Toronto. I just hope they cleaned it up after. The swanky restaurant Butcher meets Stan Edgar at is called the Chase, located downtown. They utilize both the exterior and upstairs interior, which is located in the historic Deneen building constructed in 1897. Now, I know I couldn't get to everything. I skipped over almost all the sets and focused just on the locations, but I hope this is a fun video to give you a brief snippet of what the real locations are like for the boys. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe and share, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.